up, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning into Young and Excellent. We are a platform for young people in Sarnia-Lambton to share their journeys, their stories, their products, you name it, we got it, and we love it. So thank you so much for listening, and make sure to subscribe. Also, thank you to Sarnia Journal for being fantastic, wonderful sponsors and for publishing us. Make sure to subscribe to their daily email blasts. They are fantastic. Keep me in the know, so you should be in the know. Today's guest is Corey, and we're gonna definitely dive into some amazing conversations about what it's like to be an artist, what's it like to be an entrepreneur, and what's it like to be an entrepreneur in Sarnia, as well as a teacher. There's so many fantastic things that Corey does, and I can't wait for all of you to hear about it or watch it. Stay tuned. For coming on the show, Corey.
No problem.
It is phenomenal to have you in the space, obviously, since you helped us set up today. So really appreciate your expertise. But yeah, so how was your day today?
Today was good. Yeah, I got to talk on a panel at the college for entrepreneurship, so that was pretty cool.
Which is really cool. You were just telling me about that. So I obviously, in our conversation beforehand, I've learned that you teach at Lambton College.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
This is my third year there.
Wow.
So I wrote, they used to have it 3 terms of video production in their advanced photography program. They brought it down to 1 term, so I had to rewrite the curriculum.
Oh, wow.
So I rewrote it down to a 14-week curriculum 3 years ago. And then they hired me on to teach it as well.
Wow, okay. So you got that experience too, on top of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So what about teaching made you go, heck yes, I want to do this?
Well, so part of it is, I'm at a point in my career where you start thinking about passing knowledge on.
Yeah.
That'd be one part of it. But as they happen, I had a bit of a serendipitous moment. So I had thought about starting my own program there for editing or film production or something like that.
Yeah, cool.
Because I took a program back in the day that was called Media Fundamentals when I was young.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're still young.
So I took this program and they didn't really have anything like that anymore. So I thought I might see what it takes to start a program there. And I had seen a video of Richard Beland, and he runs the photography program at the college, but he's an incredible rock star photographer.
Okay. That's
literal
cool,
rock
then.
stars, Rolling Stones.
Oh, so you're actually saying
Downey.
he shoots rock stars.
He shoots rock stars, yeah. And
What?
He's amazing.
That is so cool.
But he runs the program at the college. So I saw this interview with him. It's a 30-minute thing called Storytellers that a company in town runs, Sierra Creative.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And didn't know what this guy looked like prior to seeing that. But I've said, I need to meet this guy because I just want to ask him what it takes to start a program at the college.
Yeah.
Probably 2 days later, I'm taking my kids to the YMCA to go swimming. Who's in there? Richard Beland is in the locker room.
What?
Like the change room with his kids.
Yeah.
I've never seen this guy before in my life.
Yeah.
Saw him in the video. 2 days later, I see him at the YMCA in Petrolia.
Man, that's the universe working its work.
Yeah. And it's one of those moments where it's it's weird. I'm in the kids' locker room. Do I just walk
how
away?
do you? Yeah. That's a weird situation because you're not really sure. Do I cross this boundary? I don't know if he's gonna be okay with it. So
yeah.
But you took the chance.
I'm always that's kind of my mantra is I just go for it. So I just went up, hey, are you Richard Beland? And he's like, yeah. Kind of, this is weird. What are you talking to me in the kids' locker room for?
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I saw a video that you're in. I really want to meet you. I want to talk to you about some stuff at the college. He goes, come in Monday. So I came in Monday and he goes, it's very strange that you're coming in because our video instructor is leaving.
Oh my God. So you just at the right time, the right place.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And those things happen way more than we even know.
Oh, absolutely do.
But it's are you willing to run towards it. That's the thing.
Yeah, see, I'm
So
very similar to you, whereas like I'm a go-getter. If I see an opportunity, I'm gonna take it. There's nothing that can stop me, even in a kid's locker room. I'm like,
yeah,
hey, I'm
yeah,
gonna talk to you because I want this opportunity.
yeah.
But for you as an entrepreneur, like I'm very, very curious as to like, have you made the full transition to teaching, or is it just part-time?
No, it's very part-time. So I teach one term and it's 3 hours a week.
Mm.
So it allows me like it still allows me to do my business as I do it full time, but it also allows me into that world where I get to pass on some information.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's also a weird little kind of interview process because I get access to all these like really talented people in the same field as me,
Hmm.
and it's almost like a 14-week interview, right?
Yeah,
I've hired people out of there.
absolutely.
So you get to kind of see do they hand stuff in on time?
Hmm.
So for me, deadlines are important, right?
Yes,
Do they hand
especially
stuff
in
in on
anything
time?
with media, it's very important.
Right. So I get to see, do they hand stuff in on time? Is it good? How's their production? How efficient are they? Do they get things? Are they organized? What's their social skills like?
Hmm.
Right. So it's just this really cool thing for me that I get to do that.
Yeah, that is super cool. See, I am from like an arts background as well because I did theater in university.
Okay.
And I always find people like trying to deter people from going to like college or university or any kind of post secondary like education for the arts. But
Mm,
in reality, if you do that, you get that networking opportunity where
big
you're
time.
working with industry professionals and you actually get that one on one experience. And I always say that everywhere you go, there's an interview. Like
Yeah.
everywhere you go, you're like kind of not on a platform. I don't want to make people self conscious,
Yeah.
but especially in an arts program, you have to make sure you're showing up and you're doing the work that you're passionate about because someone like you could see that and go, oh, I like this person. I'm going to have them like mentor with me or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
that's like
fact,
really
you
cool.
run across those people and you'll do whatever it takes to hire them
Yeah.
sometimes, right? Because they're few and far between. They're hard to find, right?
Hmm.
Like someone that's both talented in production, but then also like good socially, um, yeah, efficient, hits time schedules, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Hard to find.
It's really hard because the artist brain, we love it, but it's mainly type B. It's not usually
Yep.
type A. So if you can find someone who has a balance of both, I agree. It's such a treasure to find. I would
Exactly.
like to say that I'm that person, but these past couple years, I don't know. I feel like trying to balance full-time job and being an artist, I'm like, oh, it's a little all over the place, but
It's
that's
incredibly hard.
life, you know?
Yeah.
So you as an entrepreneur, what made you want to get into that?
Um, yeah. So I guess we could go back. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
take us back.
yeah. So I went to film production. Like
Mhm.
I went to school for film.
Oh, nice.
So
Where'd you go to school?
Confederation College in
Oh,
Thunder Bay.
cool. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And they have an amazing program there.
Mhm.
It at the time they were actually still I'm dating myself, but they were still using film.
Okay.
They didn't need to be, like there was HD cameras and all that
Mhm.
stuff, but they still taught on film, which was great because if if you didn't light it properly, it didn't expose,
Mhm.
right? So there was this like crazy anticipation of I'm going to send my film away to get it digitized, and I don't even know if it's like good. Is it in
Yeah.
focus? Is it exposed
That's so
properly?
wild to think that
Scary.
like that was the way movies, film, television, everything was made.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts. Even
Yeah.
us taking photos, that's what that was like.
Exactly.
We have
Yeah.
no
You didn't
idea if
know.
it turned out.
Send
No
it to
idea.
Walmart and get it
Yeah.
developed. Like,
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
even know what's on there, right?
No, oh god, so many misprints, honestly.
Yeah. So I did the film production school, and then after that, I moved to like Toronto area, and I
Mhm.
did work in the industry for a short time, a little over a year.
Okay.
But it was hard. It was a lot of
Yeah.
contracts. It was a lot of layoffs, searching for work,
Mhm.
like searching online for work, and like getting calls. I got a call one time, and I went to a job in a blizzard.
Oh
Like I drove
no.
from Oakville to Toronto in this
Oh
like
no.
horrible blizzard. Got there, and the guy went, "Yeah, we don't need you today." And
Oh my gosh.
I was like, "Buddy, I just drove like through hell to get
Yeah.
here."
Well, Oakville and like it was a downtown Toronto or was it?
Yeah, it was downtown Toronto,
That's a
but
trek.
it was really bad weather.
Yeah.
Like people were like going into the ditch and all this
Oh my
stuff, but I had to get
God.
this. I didn't have a job. Like I was out of work, right? Living in
Mhm.
Toronto, like
Yeah.
Oakville.
Oh God.
Um,
Oakville even is super expensive
yeah.
though. Yeah.
So I get there and he's like, "Yeah, we don't need you," and toss me
A
a
50.
$50 bill. It
Oh
was,
no. That's not even enough for gas.
yeah. So I was like, the industry was tough at that time. So we ended up moving back home, me and my wife,
Hmm.
and she got a full-time teaching job, but I was kind of lost. I'm like,
Hmm.
what do I do
Well,
now?
yeah, you'd be starting from scratch, kind of. Yeah.
Exactly. So I got into customer service. I worked in customer service, and I moved my way up in retail. I was
Hmm.
a manager, and then I moved over to the banking system, and I worked there for a while, about 6 years in the banks.
Hmm.
Became a branch manager, like moved my way all the way
Oh,
up.
cool.
But all the time, I was doing this part time business on the side. I was doing videos for companies. I do like little small business promos and wedding videos and
Mm.
different things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got to the point where the bank like just was not for me. Like
That's a hard business.
it's
That's a
so
really hard business to get into and
it's so
maintain.
far from what I wanted to do,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So I hit a really low point. Like,
How could you not? Like, I feel like that's a really jarring experience to go through.
yeah, so pretty depressed.
Hmm.
Was coming home, didn't want to talk to my family. Like I was just like
Yeah.
wanted to hide from it.
Oh, I get that. I know that feeling.
So what happened though, one of these moments, like Richard Bland,
Yeah.
someone reached out to me out of the blue. He was the VP of marketing for the YMCA's all across southwestern Ontario, so the
Mhm.
head office. And he said, "I've heard about you from a few different people about your videos. Two different people this week actually
Oh,
like had
wow.
talked to him about me." And he said, "We need to cover a marketing coordinator position, but we want to really focus on video production." So I went, I took a big pay cut. I went and did this marketing coordinator position. I knew nothing about
Oh, trust me, I know how that feels.
radio and print and all this
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
right? And websites, like nothing about it. But
Yeah.
the important thing was I had that video production that they wanted. And they were able to teach me all those other things. And
Hmm.
I'm a quick learner. So I went and did that. And I did that contract. It ended. They found the money to get me a contract while the other marketing coordinator came back. So I was a coordinator of video production.
Oh, that's sweet. That's a sweet gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just doing strictly video, telling like these amazing stories of change and everything, like
Hmm.
that the Y has like changed people's lives, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they hired me full time in there as a video production coordinator. And all the time they were very flexible and allowed me to like, they knew I wanted to build a business, so they allowed
Hmm.
me to do that.
Oh, that's so amazing. I
So
love the Y, honestly.
they were
So this
awesome.
is like really awesome to hear that like you also have a good experience with them.
Yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about my time there.
Hmm.
It was an awesome 3 years, and when I went to step out, they were fully on board. They were like, "Go do your thing," and I still do video production for the Y.
Oh,
So
that's
they
awesome.
hire me in freelance, and I go and do some jobs for them
Oh,
still.
that's so sick. So is that kind of how Frameworks was born?
That was the birth of Frameworks. I actually came up with that name back in like 2008
What was the inspiration?
of Frameworks, the
Yeah.
name Frameworks. Um, well, the idea was I knew eventually it was going to evolve into more than just video.
Hmm.
So I thought a bit more like we're creating frameworks for a business,
Oh,
right?
that's cool.
So it has that name has the ability to move into other things.
Absolutely.
But I'm also working with Frames,
Hmm.
right? Frames a video,
Oh, yeah.
and this is a little, the company DreamWorks.
Yeah, of course.
It sounded kind of like DreamWorks. So
Yeah.
DreamWorks.
I've never made like that connection before. It absolutely does.
I just wanted that like mental like little subliminal ad there for
Yeah.
like
Oh,
another
that's super
company.
smart. Yeah, because now every time I see DreamWorks, I'm gonna think of Frameworks,
Yeah.
and I hope everyone else does now.
Yeah, so that was the birth of it, but really the why really helped me get it out there and be full
Mhm.
time with it. They
Wow.
allowed me the time and flexibility to do that. And then I ended up taking on a business partner, which is my sister, Tana.
Oh, yes, yes. Love Tana.
Yeah. So the reason it was necessary to do that is she's so good at admin. She's so organized, and I'm not.
Yep. See, type B.
I'm very creative.
She's type A then, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very good on like the other side, like the creative side, but she's awesome at, the other side of it. And we work really well together with that yin yang.
Yeah, you gotta find your yin and yang. I feel like Sam and I also have that yin and yang because I feel like I'm more you, and then I feel like she's more your sister. But we both have that creative flow, so it's like we kind of have a balance of both. But once you find that and you feel like you can run with it, I feel like magic happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's necessary. It's necessary if you don't have the strength to find that person that does.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to like partner with them, but finding those collabs and those people that you can work with, it's super important.
That is so cool. So how long has Frameworks been around, Sarnia?
Well, officially I would say like I started it in 2008. It failed miserably.
It happens. That's usually how it starts.
And like I can tell you why, but 2016 is, I think, 2016 is when we incorporated, and that's when we started going full time.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, congratulations, because obviously the business has been super successful. I see you everywhere all the time, so it's so nice that we get to sit down and actually talk.
Yeah.
But I really want to thank you for like sharing your experience in that deep depression and how to come out of it, and being that person that was resilient and pushing through, and then still having your happily ever after. I think that's very inspiring for folks who maybe are going through the same kind of thing. So like, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
It's not easy being vulnerable.
No, that's right.
Yeah. So
and that was one of the toughest. I would say that was one of the like lowest points. Yeah. I've had some low points in my life, like
it ebbs and flows.
But that was like, that was a bad one.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists can relate to that, because even me, I was like on my master's year, so I was like 2020 around then, so you know what's coming.
Yeah.
I like had like this huge career lined up. Like I was getting like kind of like big talks with like getting shows into certain theaters in Toronto, because I was like in Toronto at the time. And then suddenly COVID happened, and then my whole world was shattered. And so I kind of went through that, not to the same extent, because I didn't really get to actually try in the industry. It kind of just was taken away from me right away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't regret that. And I'm so thankful for where I am right now. So I don't know if that's how you feel. I hope it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, like, those experiences, like working in the bank wasn't the best for me, but I still gained like invaluable experience there. Customer service, like management skills. Also like dealing with people with a lot of money makes it a lot easier to talk to like a CEO of a company now.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I certainly don't like discount those things, and there was good years there. It was just near the end that it was.
Well, because you get like that, almost like that itch of like you need a new beginning, and the new beginning is coming. And if you miss the train, it's not going to come for a while. I know that's how I feel usually in those moments of like, okay, I got to get up and go, or else I'm going to miss something really cool. Which is like a fun way to live, but it's also like hard in that low moment to bring yourself out of it.
Yeah.
So in 2008, you said it failed miserably, Frameworks. Why is that?
Well, it failed miserably because I was saying no to things that I didn't know how to do. So people would come to me and say like, do you know how to do like logo animations or whatever it may be? I was like, yeah, sorry, I don't know how to do that. And I would turn that business away.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize until it was probably about 2012 actually that I realized you're better off to say yes to those things and either collab and hire it in and take a little bit off the top so that you can still have that offering, or learn how to do it.
Exactly. I'm a full believer in that mentality as well, just because we have so much information at our fingertips now, especially. I know 2008 probably was a little bit different,
a little early,
still using MSN
YouTube
Messenger, but that's okay. But you still had way more access to information. And so like we should be able to use that and use as a tool for us to succeed and thrive. So
for sure.
That's actually such great advice. So what made you change that mindset?
I don't know that there was a moment, but I do remember a business had come to me and asked me if I could do something, but they wanted like flashy animation and different things like at the
Mhm.
end. It was really important to them that they had an animated logo at the end of their
Yeah,
video.
that's fine. Yeah. They're getting the
So
money, so
normally I'd be like, I can shoot the video for you, but then you'd have to get someone else to do that, right?
Mhm.
But instead, for whatever reason with that company, I said, yeah, I can do that. And once they said yes, I immediately got on the phone with like some people that I went to
Yeah.
film school with that knew how to
Yeah.
do that. And I was like, hey, can you do this for me? And
Yeah,
they were
I'm
like,
calling a friend here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I made like $0 profit on that video,
Mhm.
but
Hey, that's okay.
right. But it made me like, it gave me that piece in the portfolio. And then I just started like, like I saw what they did, and then I was like, maybe I can do this. And I just started experimenting with that stuff
Mhm.
on my own.
Yeah.
And yeah, now like I don't have to hire any of that stuff out now.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
But that's really important, but I also feel like that comes with a like you don't have a fear of failing then.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's, I guess that would be a bit of a switch too, is that I wouldn't say I don't have a fear of failing. Like everyone's got a fear of failing,
Yeah.
but I've got less worry about it if someone says no or if someone doesn't like something, right?
Yeah.
Like most things are fixable,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
and like what's it matter if someone says no to you? Like
Yeah.
you're still in the same financial position, you're
Yeah.
still the same person, you've still
Yep.
got, right? You might be a little bit hurt emotionally or something like that.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But
Emotions can heal. It's
yeah,
fine.
but yeah, saying you're going to regret more that you didn't say yes to those things.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that's so hard. See, I'm the rare person that I don't really have a big fear of failing at all. I have a fear of falling from my financial position, but I don't have a fear of failing. And so a lot of times I'll just show up places and everyone's like, "How are you just like so chill with everything?" And I'm like, "Cuz if I fail, I get to learn and I move on."
Right.
That's just the pattern of it. And I
Yeah.
think once you get used to that pattern, you get comfortable with the idea that you're not an expert. You don't
Hmm.
have to be an expert, and that asking questions is actually a good thing,
Yeah.
and saying you don't know is also a good thing. I feel
Yeah.
like once you get comfortable with that, I think the world just like opens up,
Yeah.
because it's really hard as an artist to know everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think back to some of my earlier projects and I'm like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
atrocious. Is that kind of how you feel, like
Um
as you gotten like better and better and better in your industry?
so here's the thing. I look at those old projects and yes, I do look back at them and go, "Ooh, that's bad."
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I look back at those old projects, I was actually taking chances, taking risks that I
Hmm.
don't take, because now that it's like a running business where I've got like return customers and things
Yeah.
like that, you tend to like stick to the things that work a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah.
that I don't take chances still, but like I know the things that are going to do well,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes you find yourself like almost in this complacency where it's like I'm doing similar things or the same things.
Yeah.
I look back on the older stuff and I go, "Oh, I used to do, like I forgot I used to do these transitions or whatever in my
Yeah.
video. Like I should try that now." Right? So, yeah, once again, like I look back on those things as maybe they're a little crappy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I also look back on them as like I was like learning and I was like
Hmm.
fresh and I was trying things,
Yeah.
and sometimes I bring those things into what I'm doing now. So
Yeah, which is like such
yeah,
a good point, because I find that like if you have a talent and you have a skill, when you're first starting it out, like you're gonna have really cool, innovative ways to do things. And
exactly.
then that's actually a really good point for a lot of people who are in the same field as you to maybe look back at that stuff, because now you've got the skill to really hone it in. And if
Mhm.
you have something that's creative and unique and just like serves, I don't know, very many different populations, you could just like input it right away.
Yeah.
But I do agree that you kind of do get complacent when, especially when you're like getting paid to do it. I
Mhm.
feel like when I'm not getting paid to do something, or if it's not part of like my business or whatever, I'm so much more creative because I
Yeah.
don't have somebody else's ideas in mind. It's just me.
Exactly.
Do you
Yeah.
feel, yeah, do you feel that way like currently? That
Yeah.
like you're like working with others, so then like you kind of put the creativity in the back burn? Or is it more of, I am so good at my job that I can just turn it out, no problem?
um. Sometimes it depends who I'm working with.
That's
Yeah.
really fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you were to work with me, it would be like like Tim Burton just threw up.
Let's try something. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do
yeah,
something crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, there's certain customers like it's funny because like I have tried. I'm like, well, maybe I'll try these like creative titles with this
Mhm.
customer or something. Then they come back and say, I think there's something wrong with these titles, right? It's like,
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's fine.
yeah,
But I also feel like when you're doing a business, it's always about the client at the
That's
end of the
right.
day.
Yeah.
So now that you've had it incorporated since 2016, what's been like the greatest achievement that you can recall on for Frameworks?
um, greatest achievement.
Or like a highlight, like your favorite highlight?
Well, I probably had many, but
Mm.
I remember like really early on thinking, can I get this to the point where it actually pays me?
Mm.
Right? Like that
Yeah.
was like the goal. And then
And
you,
that's hard to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you do that and it's like, okay, that was my goal. So what's the next thing? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so then
exactly.
you got to like, you do have to kind of come up with all these goals as you go. But I think goals are, maybe I'm getting away from your
Oh,
question here,
that's
but
okay. Go for it.
I think goals aren't the important thing.
Mm.
Like you have to have goals,
Hmm.
but you can't like have the goal as the thing that's going to make you happy
I totally agree with that.
because like that's a moment in time,
Hmm.
right? You're going
Yeah.
to hit that goal and it's just going to pass.
Yep.
So I always think like you really have to have that journey
Hmm.
be enjoyable,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
100%.
What was your question though?
Oh, it was your
Because I
greatest
went
achievement.
way away from
No,
it.
it's your greatest achievement, but I love that idea of a goal not being the end all be all because I feel like when you go through elementary and high school, it's kind of drilled into even university, college, apprenticeships, doesn't matter. Like all roots of education really nailed down this idea of like you need to have a goal, you got to achieve the goal, and then you are successful. And I agree with you. I don't usually say a goal out loud. I'm usually just like, I would love to do this
Right.
and then I'll just make it happen as
Okay.
opposed to setting like a goal like I want to sign 5 clients. I'm
Okay.
like more of like I want to do something and then I'll just go out and do it. So I
Yeah.
feel like it really depends on your mindset around goals because it can also
Hmm.
set you back. If you
Yeah.
can't achieve it, if it's not a sustainable goal, you get really down on yourself and
Yeah,
that's never
for
fun.
sure. Yeah, but you do kind of have to have markers, right? Like
Yeah.
otherwise you run into that where I'm just like spinning the wheels in this
Yeah,
complacent
yeah.
zone. But
100%.
um biggest achievement, I'd say as of late, like if I could throw at one recent would be that we've in the last 2 years hired 2 staff.
Oh, that's a huge achievement.
It is because like it's doing two things. It's made our team bigger. Like we're
Mhm.
growing.
That's so
There's
cool.
growth in that.
Yeah.
We've hired two like really good people, like just good people in general, but they're
Mhm.
also like very talented.
Yeah.
But then so like I don't know, having that ability to like mentor them is good for me.
Yeah. Well, also
Um
you're investing in your future too, as a company, and also you, if you ever retire, to pass it on too, so it
yeah.
doesn't end with you.
Well, yeah, and me personally, like I'm kind of getting a bit of time back, which is
Hmm.
like the first, I don't know, 6 years of my life was just like night and day, like when weekends, everything. I'm working
Yeah.
everything, right? To try to just make the ends meet. Um, so it's nice to have these couple staff to be able to take some of that
Yeah,
off my plate.
absolutely. And I feel like that's not talked a lot with entrepreneurship is those starting years, how tough, how draining, not only especially if you have a family
Hmm.
and like if you have friends, if you have a life, like
Yeah, yeah,
it literally becomes your everything.
exactly.
And you're almost fighting to survive in those years. And that's extremely difficult on your body, on your mental health. Like my sister's an entrepreneur and so is her husband
Okay.
and they work so hard just to like make sure that they're keeping on track with their goals and their markers
Hmm.
and just to see them work and see them thrive is it's such an interesting experience. I've never done that before.
Right.
And so to see them kind of not suffer because I think that's the wrong word, but sacrificing a lot of things to make sure that they get to where they want to be,
Yeah.
it's a really hard journey that I think a lot of people don't really realize when they say they want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's like this you're gonna earn all this money and it's gonna be super flexible and like you get to go golfing and all this
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
no.
No. Maybe,
Maybe.
like in 20 years.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
yeah.
some, like maybe there's like a small percentage of
Yeah,
people
whoever
that,
invented the Snuggie, 110% did.
they're golfing for sure.
Absolutely, but it takes a while. I always like am under the principle that if you start a business, don't expect any profit for 5 years.
Mhm.
I've been told that a lot of my life. Is
Mhm.
that kind of similar to what you've experienced?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a time.
I think we were under 5 years before we were like paying ourselves.
Oh, that's nice then.
Yeah,
That's really awesome.
But shortly under 5 years. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It takes, because there's so much startup costs and there's so much networking involved. So on top of being an entrepreneur and a teacher at Lambton College, I've heard that you have a podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
You just do all the things, huh?
Yeah, probably too much. But
Yeah, retweet.
yeah.
But so what is your podcast?
So it's called Second Story.
Okay.
And I started it with a friend of mine, friend that I actually went to film school with.
Oh, cool.
He lives in Ottawa. So we've been talking about it for actually like 2 years now.
Mhm.
And we just finally executed it last year.
Nice.
So Second Story is we talk to people about pivotal changes in their lives
So cool.
and how that sent them down a different path.
Mhm.
And those changes can be, by choice or by chance,
Yeah.
and they can be good or bad. But basically what we're looking to do is get people's stories out there and showcase inspiration to people.
Mhm.
And it's also a great way to network.
Yeah, it
It's
sounds
an
like
awesome
it.
way to network.
But it also sounds like that's reflected in your own personal experience too. So were you self-motivated to start the podcast because of your own experience?
Yeah, so both Josh and I have had, kind of like pivotal things in our lives.
Mhm.
So, and very different. Like mine has been very career based.
Very fair.
Although I've had pivotal changes in my personal life too.
Yeah.
But his was more guided around a personal story.
Wow.
So it's just it's an awesome way to chat with people and to gain inspiration. We've met some really cool people.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So is there like an Instagram we can follow? Is it on YouTube? Like where can we find it?
Yeah, so on any of the socials, you can go at Second Story Pod. YouTube, you'd have to search it up, Second Story Podcast.
Okay.
And yeah, we're on everything like Spotify, Amazon Music,
So cool.
all that stuff. So,
After I listen to the Young and Excellent podcast, I'll listen to yours.
well, Second Story subscribed to you, you've subscribed to us.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you
It'll
didn't
be
know.
great. It's wonderful.
But we've had some like really amazing interviews that people should check out. Like, can I tell you about one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recently, like last month, I think we released this one. We interviewed a guy named Jody Plauché.
Okay.
So Jody, he was a huge story in the 80s because he was kidnapped by
What?
his karate instructor.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Who was like sexually abusing him.
Obviously a psycho. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awful.
And then, so he ended up getting caught. This is where the story gets even crazier.
Mhm.
So he ended up getting caught. And when he was being transported through the airport, Jody's dad was waiting there
What?
and shot him on live TV. Gary Plauché.
Oh my God. I know this story.
Do you? It was
I know this
like
story.
the biggest news cycle in like the early 80s. It was like 1984.
Honestly, good for the dad though. Good. I'm
That's-
not condoning murder. I'm not condoning murder at all. But like
Yeah.
to do that and to stand in your integrity in that moment, like good for him.
Yeah. So he's been treated as like a hero. Jody doesn't necessarily talk about him as a hero
Which is fair.
because he doesn't condone that, but
Mhm.
he does really believe in what his dad stands for.
Yeah.
And Jody's very inspirational because he's gone through life with kind of that non-victim mindset.
Yeah.
He treats it as I had a really bad year.
Man,
one
good
bad
for
year in my
him for
life.
having that mindset, because I don't think a lot of people would be able to come back from that,
Yeah.
especially it being on live television. Because like you just said, I just said that dad's a hero,
Yeah.
and so Jody's had to hear that his whole life,
His whole life.
and that must be so difficult.
Yeah. Well, I think his dad's passed now, but
Mhm.
his dad didn't end up going to jail either.
Which is wild. I was just
Yeah.
about to ask, because I was like, I feel like you do like more than 7 years at
Yeah,
that point.
he got charged for manslaughter, but he ended up getting off.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's
The
a
judge
difference.
was
That's a difference in
lenient.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But wow, so
Yeah.
for your podcast to hear that, like, and like take that in and share that story, like, because again, I know that name and I was not even around in the 80s, and
Yeah.
so the fact that you have somebody who is willing to share their story and come forward and be vulnerable, like, I'm really looking forward to listening to all the other episodes too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of great guests that we have. So,
Yeah.
and some interesting ones coming up that we've already shot too. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is wild. And that must have been a lot for you to listen to as well and take in and to kind of interact with.
yeah, some of them are tough to listen to for sure.
Yeah.
But Joe, I don't know what it is about Jody. He's very he makes it easy on you. Like he's got a lot of humor and that kind of thing, and just his attitude on life, how he doesn't let it run him.
Wow.
Right.
Good for Joey.
So very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, at Second Story Pod, and then Second Story Podcast on YouTube.
Really cool, like getting to know you on this level since we've always been in passing or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But this is the final question for the today. I almost said the day, but like people watching or listening don't know what that means.
Okay.
So I would like to know, what is the greatest piece of advice you've been given?
It's pretty simple, actually. So when I worked at the bank, I was advising this client. He had a bakery and he was retiring from the bakery. He'd had it for like 35 or 40 years, something like that. And I said to him, okay, I'm starting out a business. What's the biggest piece of advice that you could give me as a new entrepreneur? And he said, just tell the truth. Said to your clients, to your staff, to your family, to everybody, just tell the truth. Because he made a really good point. If you lie about something, like I didn't meet this deadline because my computer broke or whatever it may be, you have to remember that lie 6 months down the road, 2 years down the road. If they come back to you and say, what was the reason you didn't do that? You have to remember that lie. But you never have to try to remember the truth.
Oh, amen to that, Corey.
Right?
That's
Truth's the truth.
Such a good piece of advice, especially for people starting out businesses.
Yeah. So I've always taken that to heart. Like we're big on customer service. And part of that is just like being honest with communication, with deadlines and all that stuff. And if something goes wrong, we just talk to them.
Yeah. And sometimes things go wrong, and that's okay. I feel like in the age of the technology world that we're living in, with social media, with showing a good face on like online in the public, I feel like a lot of people have this idea that if I lie in the beginning that I'm the successful, most amazing, incredible person, then people will buy into it. But I'm like, that's more of a cult behavior.
Yeah.
That's not like being an authentic business person who's actually here to make a difference in whatever way you feel is necessary. Like for you, providing media to folks, that's really awesome. Yeah. But being honest and upfront and truthful, I love that. I'm going to take that with me.
That's it. It's simple. It's so simple.
It's hard for people though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's even hard for me sometimes when I mess up. I'm like, oh, I really want to lie. But I'm like, no. Just say the truth. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People just try to find those reasons, those excuses. And yeah, if they find out, it's real bad for you anyways. Right?
Yeah. Well, and then your credibility is out the window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great rest of your day.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.